Good morning. We are looking at Magix Music Maker today, and I'm going to show you how to set up a MIDI controller to be usable in Music Maker. Recently, Music Maker was released as part of a Humble Bundle, and a lot of people picked it up and have questions, which is what prompted me to create this video. So I am using that version. There are a couple of different versions. I'm going to create a new project here. I just loaded it up. This is the title screen. Click OK. And I also reset all of my settings in here, so this is pretty much default, nothing funky. I haven't done anything in advance. And just to show you which version I'm using version 25.1278. There are different versions of Music Maker. I also have the version that you buy with the suite instead of the one that came with Humble Bundle. They are slightly different. There is also a 2016 version, a 2017 version. There's probably plenty of other versions out there as well. The reason that I'm covering that is because they're all essentially the same in regards to setting up a MIDI controller, with the possible exception of the free demo version. I have heard on Reddit that that version does not let you use a MIDI controller. I can't verify that. If I find out, I'll put it in the comments. But other than that one, these should pretty much all be the same. So where we're going to do most of our work is under File, Settings, Program Settings, because we are affecting how the program, Music Maker, handles MIDI throughout the entire program. And that Program Settings brings us up to this screen. We are interested in this Audio and MIDI tab. So we're going to go ahead and click on that, and you will find that you may have 4 tabs, you may have 5 tabs. It depends on which version you have as to which these tabs are. But from everything I've seen, this Audio MIDI tab is pretty much standard in every one of them. So that's the one you're looking for. And then once we're there, the box here for MIDI is what we are concerned about. And we're concerned with one thing, and that is this empty box right here. This box controls where Music Maker gets its MIDI data from. So MIDI is simply a way to pass information back and forth between different musical electronic instruments. Most of the time it's for keyboards and synthesizers. You can control all sorts of things with it, but we're concerned about keyboards and synths. So what this is telling us is, because there is nothing in there, it is saying that Music Maker doesn't have any external devices that it knows about that it can get information from for recording or handling a MIDI stream. That's what we need to change. And the easy way to do that for most modern MIDI keyboards or controllers is simply plug them in. If you have the option of USB, that is what I would use with Windows 10, probably Windows 8.1 or higher, and most modern day Macs. So I have an Akai Pro LPK25 that I'm plugging in right now. And that little noise is Windows telling me that it knows that I plugged something in. And I'm going to go back to my File, Settings, Program Settings, Audio MIDI. My input device is still blank, but if I pull down that little box now, there's my LPK25. So I select my LPK25 and click OK. And you can see that little window down there saying that it's reconfigured its sound, and this is what it's using because it knows that I made a change. And here's where people get upset. So I am now banging away on my little LPK25 and nothing is happening at all. Well, this is how software works a lot, is whenever you make a major change to where information is coming from or going to in the background engine of the software. So we basically just changed where Music Maker is getting its MIDI data, close the program, and reopen it. Now, Music Maker seems to be very finicky about this. Anytime I make any kind of change to where my MIDI data is coming or going, I have to restart Music Maker. They're not the only ones. I have SoundForge Audio Studio, I have Ableton, I got a few others. They all do this to some degree. Simply restart them, and now that's my little LPK25. You see, so it does chords, it does single key, it's working just fine. If I want to record that MIDI stream, I simply select it, click record, laugh at my playing. I am not a keyboardist. But, so stop it, play it back. Well, that's the LPK25. If you have, say, an M-Audio 81, a Nektar, Keystation, anything like that, it should be pretty much the same thing. You plug in the USB port, Windows says, hey, I found a device, you add it in there. And just to show you, I also have a Yamaha PSR. Let me turn that on, and that'll take just a second to wake up, and Windows will figure out that it's there right about now. There we go. So there's my noise that Windows says it knows about it. I'm just going to go right back up to File, Settings, Program Settings, Audio MIDI, and change that to Digital Keyboard. Yamaha doesn't present itself anything special. It just says, hey, I'm a keyboard. Click OK. Wait for that to spin to a second. Jump over here to my Yamaha. And you see, I got the same issue we had before. I got nothing. So what do? Close it. Reopen it. That kind of reconnects all the little brains in the background to say, oh, you want me to go this way. There we go. Once that's up and running, new project. Back to my default piano. You want to record it, same thing. Just hit record. I can play it back. That, in a nutshell, is how you hook up a MIDI controller or a relatively modern keyboard for use in Music Maker. I'll leave you one last note. You can get a MIDI keyboard with a DIN plug. This is going to be slightly kind of older technology than the USB. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it's using an older standard that is actually way more compatible with lots of other stuff than USB. So like my Akai Pro, I can plug it into a computer. I generally cannot plug it into another keyboard. I can't plug it into another hard synthesizer, whereas if I had a 5-pin MIDI DIN, then I could do that. So if you have an older keyboard that doesn't have that USB out, you simply need a MIDI adapter or a MIDI card in your computer to be able to do that. And that is beyond the scope of this. I cannot configure a MIDI device or a MIDI converter in Magix Music Maker. That is going to be, once you've set it up in Windows, then it will show up under that settings, program settings, audio MIDI, and instead of digital keyboard, you'll have like Bob's MIDI box or whatever your converter is, or Creative Labs SB 256 MIDI input, something like that. And that pretty much is all you need to do. Just remember that if it doesn't work, close the program and reopen it. Take care.